doesn't know the weather and just gets soaked. Go ahead.
All right, we are live, and the New York Mets are like the weather outside. Dog shit. Dog shit. It's your pal Clem here in Winterfell. No power. I'm on a hot spot. Still have better internet connection than the Barstool HQ. Got your boy KFC, a little south left of me. The Clancy Manor, I believe it's called.
Clancy Manor is underwater right now. One of my all-time mushes. Clem, I said let's do the podcast. Clem was like, I don't know if I can. I don't have service because of this hurricane. Me and Clem live like 30 minutes apart. So what are you talking about hurricane? It's not even raining here. Before I could finish the sentence, one of the biggest downpours I've ever seen. This house might float away. Who knows? I'm definitely going to get rain through my roof for sure.
And we got Meek Phil coming from Queens to New York City,
like
swimming basically.
Look at that hat. He's soaked. He's literally soaked.
When I got off the train, it was just like biblical. And this is the first shorts day of the year for me. Let me back all the way up.
Big day of the year. Meek Phil's first shorts day.
First shorts. Oh God.
Whoa. Everybody has that on their calendar.
Trying to show them off, and they're just soaked.
Unbelievable. Are you just going to sit in the bro, there is so much clothes that you could change into at that office.
I'm going to do it after the pod.
Yeah, that's a good call. So if you're, if your house floated away this morning, a tree crashed through it, or you're just watching the Mets every night, grab yourself a Coors Light. It is the beer that has made the chill. We've been saying that for years, and they present, we got to believe it's presented by Coors Light. There are plenty of chances in life to make things better by choosing chill, or, choosing a different baseball team might help that as well. So grab every opportunity to choose chill, then reach for refreshing Coors Light. New York, choose chill and reach for Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/believe. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Our boy Kyle, I hope he has some Blue Mounds because you got to check in on your people during storms like this because you don't know what the hell's going on. So I hope our boy Kyle, he's a new homeowner. Kev, you learned that the hard way. You had to get some Coors Lights with the old Clancy Manor when you were.
I learned it with the old house, and I might be learning it with the new house too. It's not holding up. It's not holding up too great.
So now we have to get to these goddamn jerks. The New York Metropolitans are essentially what the weather is like. They are absolute dog shit. I guess we could, kind of go in the pouring rain analogy here. Our closer, who was like the spirit of the magical season in 22, and the first time we actually felt invincible in the ninth inning, he's crying basically because he's lost his stuff. He lost his mojo, and hopefully it's not a health thing. It's a mental thing, which, may not be easier, but it feels like the Uncle Diaz, at least as a closer, is kind of the headline.
I don't know whether it's just my age and maybe I'm a little more mature, or if it's because Diaz was so good and, like you said, he gave us something that we never experienced, so that now I'm giving him this grace. Whatever the combination is, if I was 28 still blogging, I would be fucking flipping out. There's no crying in baseball. Of course, the Mets closer is the only guy crying and getting demoted. We're not even in June. I would be going nuts. But I feel bad more than anything. Usually it's like there's a dose of, come on, you're making millions. Like, this is not life or death. But there's just something about Diaz where, he just got dealt such a shitty fucking hand with that WBC injury, and he was so good. And he was never going to be that again with or without the injury. But in his mind, he's going to play what if for the rest of his life. He's going to be like, what if I just had 10 straight seasons that way, and now I'm not the same because of this injury. I think it's a combination of both, of his leg and mental, but I just feel more sad than the usual fuck this franchise, they always ruin it for me. I'm more worried about him.
Yeah, let's check in on Phil, who's again the younger, doesn't have the scars, but he's wearing it probably even harder because he doesn't have the calloused over skin on his baseball soul. How we feeling, Philip?
It sucks, and it's not surprising that he blew his save Saturday after waited earlier in the week. I think what the bigger shot to his ego was.
It was a little surprising when you have a 10-6 lead or whatever it was, and we fucked. I mean,
this team isn't that surprising though. Like I'm at the point where I expect them to find a way to lose.
Yeah.
But like the bigger blow to his confidence, I would say, was Monday night, where he was going to come into a game when they were down 3, but then once they got cut to 1, they were like, "No, we can't put you in the game anymore." To me, that's a bigger dig at your confidence than blowing that save. It's not like we don't even trust you in a game we're down by 1.
Well, that means to me like there's a difference between sucking and going through a rough patch and crying to the media. Where like I don't blame the coaching staff for being like. This is not one of those situations, I don't think at least, one of those situations where it's like, get you back out there, work through it. Like, they must have at least all seen the reaction and had conversations where it's like, you need a change. You need a break because, to not even trust him in a situation where you're still losing is like, they don't trust you fucking at all.
And by the time he gets on the mound, it'll be like a week since the blown save because he did Saturday and hasn't pitched since. Like they weren't able to get into a game, I'm pretty sure.
You know who hates this the most? Edwin Diaz's agent. This kind of shit sticks with you, man. Like it's just he'll, unless he turns back the clock and he becomes his old self again. Because really, when you think about it, he had what? When did he start? 17 or 18?
18. 18 was his rookie year.
Yeah, he had like a great 18. He had like great years with the Mariners and terrible years with the Mets. Then he built back up and had great years with the Mets. And now he's bad again. It's like, we really don't know. You really can't say with confidence which Diaz is the real Diaz. Now, we know he's not like the top of the top, and we know he's probably not the bottom of the bottom. But is he a good closer? I guess time will tell. And so there's that big question mark over you. And then along with like, people are going to be like, you're kind of, an emotional basket case. And that's not fair, but like the people are going to be like, yo, he's, the type of guy when shit gets bad, he's crying to the media. Like that sucks. You're going to lose a lot of money. I guess he's already signed his contract. He's got his big money, but it's not good for the future.
His agent should be thanking the fucking Lord that the year where it all came together and with the team and with the owner who likes to spend all happened, boom, at the end. I mean,
imagine what would happen if let's throw out the injury. Let's just say like this year was his contract year. Even without the injury, how much money would he have gotten?
2 million, 1 million, 3 million. Like, I'm probably being too high. Make it a minor league contract.
I mean, it really is though. It's like, if people think you lost it, you lost it. They're not going to give you anything guaranteed, and it's not going to be big bucks. This guy probably saved himself like $100 and something million.
And
all started with that Timmy Trumpet series. That's when the season, everything was good. We won the series against the Dodgers.
I push back on that. We won that series. We played well. No, we really didn't. That was the very end of August, right?
We still had like a 15-8 September. It wasn't like a bad September. It's just like the Braves.
I actually went back and looked at that. It was like 15-8, and I think their best month was like 17-6 or something like that. It wasn't far off from their best month in a 100 win season. So, but it does look and feel that way, doesn't it? And that's the fucker of it all. Like everybody can say that, and it kind of feels like that's the truth.
I said that. I've said this. I think I said this in 22. I said Edwin Diaz has had the most unique relationship with Mets fans of almost any player, which is saying something because, like, it's easy to like love a guy, it's easy to hate a guy, but he was like the most hated and the most loved player with like only a few seasons in between, and then he just had a season where he just didn't play. If like at the end of his career, when you look at the back of his baseball career, you're like, what the fuck was this guy's deal?
It's crazy. I mean, I remember the 2021 it was, right? The Joe DeMayo, like Edwin Diaz campaign year where he was like, this dude is good and you guys are not paying attention. And I remember being like, I see the numbers, but I cannot get over 2019 and 2020, like it's not. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to love again. And then I never thought he would like overcome that, and he did the impossible. The only way he could have overcome those years is by turning in the 2022 season, and now it was so fleeting. Even if we could have just got like 2 years like that, God.
So he needs 16 straight scoreless innings just to get his ERA below 3.
What's kind of crazy though is like if there's a guy who could do it, it would probably be him. Like I still feel like
a month and be like, oh, 16 scoreless innings. There you go.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, right now he's really like tapped, and so it's probably not that easy for him, but I do think he could still just like break it off. But I don't know. I think he's working on his leg. He's got rust. There's a million. Is the perfect storm for him to fall apart. But it's not like thank God it's not like a season where we are contending and everything clicking.
That was the annoying thing where someone's like, oh, he's torpedoing another season. It's like, this team's like league average in like hitting and like league average in like starting pitching. It's like, he's not torpedoing anything.
No. If you're going to have your bad year, now is get him out now, boys. Get him out now.
That felt like everyone's getting their bad year out now.
Yeah, right. It does certainly feel that way. The Kunzel game is a precarious one. I've tried to explain it every year over the years where, it's a very one-to-one spiritual thing where you need to Kunzel on your own terms. And a lot of people like to jump down other people's throats for Kunzeling or for not Kunzeling. And really, it's just about you and the team and your experience with them. But that being said, the amount of shit I got when this team went on like a 5-game win streak, the old "you don't know" ball was thrown around constantly. People telling me I don't know the Mets and I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm a fair weather fan and all this shit that doesn't even make any sense because we're still sitting here watching this godforsaken team. But I mean, guys, if you didn't see this, like, there are still people right now who are saying to me, like, it's early, second wild card. This team can rattle off a few wins and be right back in it. I mean, truly, if you can still watch this team with hopes, you're fucking, you need a lobotomy. It's
mean, they could. The other team could just not show up for 2 weeks. And
that's the only chance.
And they can find a way to win some games, but yeah, that's the only chance.
Since our last recording, remember we're like, all right, now we get the Marlins and we have the Guardians, and hey, they beat up on the Marlins.
I was fooled. I thought that they were going to trick us, be like, okay, sweep versus the Marlins, then get swept versus the Guardians. Way off. I was right against about the Guardians, but I was way off on the Marlins.
Dude, nobody can be proclaiming a sweep from the Mets at all this season.
Yeah.
They lost those first 2 like blink of an eye, and now what? We've lost 5 of 6 and 8 of 10. It's like, I mean, it is torpedo season.
Now, are you guys, when someone says I got good news and bad news, do you guys ask for the good news first or the bad news first? Or
in my experience, it always ends up being all bad news, so I don't care.
What about you, Phil?
I said bad news. Just give me
I always go bad news first. It's like, give me like the sour and then give me the sweet, and I can get the taste out of my mouth. So I'll start with the bad news. The bad news is there's only 3 teams below the Mets in the wild card standings. The good news is they're 3.5 games back of the wild card, but there's like half the fucking lead above them.
They're in 11th place in the National League, and we're saying it's like, oh, they're right in it. It's like,
right, like
they're
effectively in last place, guys. Like I don't think people understand the idea of like extrapolating, where it's like we're playing 450 ball, and it's early enough that a team that's only got a few more wins than us is playing like 550. And if you expand that over 162, that's a big fucking difference.
We're playing 430 ball. We're not even playing 450.
If you play 430 over 162 versus 530 over 162, it's a difference of like 25 games. It's not, we are not in it. We never were. We never will be. And if you haven't Kunzeled by now, you're either lying to yourself or you're actually a delusional person, because they don't pass the eye test. They don't pass the statistical test. They don't pass the gut test. They're not clutch. It's nothing. They're just a bad team. They're just a bad team.
Like, I didn't pass the vibes test, and
right.
I mean,
nothing. And that's that's also part of it. Is like, I know Cohen has PR shit on his mind when he does this. But saying like we're gonna try to, I expect to make the playoffs and we're waiting for the trade deadline, like that's obviously dead now. That's obviously dead. He might say otherwise, but he's a smart man. Stearns is a smart man. They probably always knew it all along. Like anybody who thought this team was going to be good is fucking dumb. That's just it. Period. Stop. This pitching was terrible. The offense had potential to be good, but we know that it's all filled with streaky hitters, so it was never going to be great. There was no reason to think that this team was ever going to be a real contender.
And Stearns tomorrow is probably going to have like his usual like one presser per homestand, where he'll probably say his stuff. It's like, oh, we still believe in these guys.
You gotta
turn around. And look, it's stuff you gotta say, because if you just blatantly tell your fans like, oh yeah, we're dead in May, it's gonna your ticket sales already aren't good. They're gonna be way worse when you say that.
Like, here's the thing: would I like it as a fan if Stearns and Cohen came out and said, "We are gonna rebuild. Here's our plan. Here's how we plan to do it. Here's the deadline. You know, this, that, and the other." I would like that. But it's a difference of like millions and millions and millions of dollars if you say that out loud just to satiate, fans like me and you. When the rest of fans just want to like get away from work and go to the game and watch a team that they might think will win. And when the ball club is telling them they're not going to win, they're not going to spend their money on that. So like let them lie to your face. You're a fucking moron if you can't see what's going on. Have a little bit of like awareness to fan base and understand they're going to say one thing when they really mean another, and let the people who want to go out and just like have a good time with the kids or, escape and pretend they're watching a good team for the day, let them spend their money. The rest of us who have a brain won't, but except if it's Barstool at the ballpark, spend your money on those tickets, baby! Free beer, because that's what you're getting. You're getting free beer at a baseball game. Nothing more American than that. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to Live Event Lisa, who sent a company-wide email yesterday saying, is this Barstool at the ballpark event run by somebody here at Barstool, or is it an imposter? To which Jake Bass replied, they've been doing it for over a decade. So, yeah, hopefully we can get this little Barstool at the ballpark thing off the ground. Maybe it'll stick around for a couple years. Who knows?
Yeah, we have plenty of games available. Drink until the Mets look good. That's kind of what that's what we're pitching it as. We are a support group. We are going to be there for each other. We'll be eating hot dogs, drinking Blue Mountains, and trying to be as merry as the Mets allow us to be. And should have a good crew going this year. We're going to try to bring the Mets fans, the freaks out. We got Rally Pimp has already inquired about heading to a game. I think the first one, which I believe is June 1st, which is right around the corner next weekend. So we got to reach out to him. So we're going to try to get all those games up. Check out the socials. We got to believe socials for all the info for all the games there. So yeah, we're starting up now. For better or worse. And Kev, I know you wanted to shout out. We're talking about this is the season of the fans, which feels like a fucking shitty Mets ticketing agent, like
marketing the time, the fans.
But we got to shout out Jordan Simpson, the guy. It's kind of like
love him.
The new version. I'm not going to say like the evolved, but it's like a different take on our boy Black Greg, the Mets song.
Black Greg has branded himself, I think the jingle guy or something like that. He gave himself a name. The jingle guy is the original, the OG, and Jordan Simpson is the new version. I want to see those guys collab. That's the collaboration we need. Jordan writes like mini songs to the tune of very popular hits, basically recapping Mets series and Mets games in about 2 minutes. Does a great job. Great singer, great musician, and that boy can hit the low notes. God damn.
Oh God.
But he is. I want to highlight those fans this year because it's really easy and fun to do the silly gimmicky stuff when your team is good. Like, I'm going to sit down and write a whole song about this team because they just swept the 5 games from the Braves, or they're winning. They're playing 700 ball for 3 months straight. I want to write music about them. I'm going to sing jingles about them. I'm going to come up with nicknames for everybody. It's a whole other ball game when you're doing it for a team that's playing 400 ball. And I mean, I just flat out wouldn't do it. And so you guys are better fans than I am. So, I'm enjoying this stuff more than the games itself. Granted, I would enjoy, watching like cockfighting. I'd rather watch like a snuff film than the Mets play.
Kyle said he's at the dentist. He said he'd rather be there than watching the
absolutely.
Mets.
I'd rather be at the dentist than watch a full Mets game, like pitch to pitch, wire to wire. No fucking thank you. Honestly, wait, let me finish with Jordan and then we'll get into it. So, hats off to those guys because you got to really have a lot of love in your heart. And I know those things are also a lot easier when you're getting views and followers and whatnot. So I don't know if we can put him on screen or at least give his ad.
His ad is on Instagram, JR Simpson Music. So check it out. He does themes with like the song. So it's like Tracy Chapman's from Cleveland. So series based on Fast Car. And it's like the lyrics are incredible. Much more creativity than my brain can pump out. That's for damn sure.
Let me see. Can I share my screen real quick? Can I do that or is that only for like you, Clem?
You can do it. You just have to open up a tab and then hit the little share on the bottom there.
I'm sharing his Instagram to the chat right now.
I have his Instagram. Where does it present? Is that where you share?
Yeah. Yes. Go to present and then choose like a tab instead of your whole screen. Just choose like a.
Yep. Got it.
And then once it pops up there, Pabs can throw it on the screen.
So here, is that on screen now? Yeah. So here his, let's play this was the Tracy Chapman one you were talking about. One of the greatest songs of all time.
Yes. May have to hit the thing for the audio.
What do I got? Oh, yeah, down there.
We could all look great on the mound, but we didn't play clean, lost 3-1. We hit a few big flies, scored a total of 6, but lost by a run. Homers for Pete, Jeff, and Harrison Bader. Quintana was great, but then the game cratered. Dropped this 1-6-3 and feeling frustrated. And so for now we have an off day before we play at home for 10 games and 10 days in a row. That's a long home stand, no doubt, but don't want to look too far ahead for now. The Giants coming to town for 3, and I hope we play them well, so let's compete. Love
it, but how do you not go with so you gotta believe at the end of that one? I want to compete. You had believe sitting right there, Jordan. Come on. But just awesome shit from him. That's great. And if you are a fan that's doing anything unique and interesting and fun like that, send it, DM us or email or whatever, because it's going to be a long season, and I'd rather highlight the talented aspects of Mets baseball right now rather than the untalented aspects, because the players on the field. And so what I was going to say earlier is I got so many tweets and messages from people being like, I can't watch this team for another 5 months or whatever. Don't do it to yourself. I know that everybody who probably follows Barstool and watches this religiously is enough of just a regular ass dude that we live by some like code where you have to be the best and biggest and most prolific watching fan on the planet. And if you don't watch every pitch of every inning, you're not a real fan. And it's just stupid to do to yourself when it's a product that's this bad. And honestly, in years gone by when we had the Wilpons, I think it actually harmed the franchise. The fact that we were so diehard, the Wilpons would get away with murder every year. I don't think that matters anymore because Wilpons got the money, and I think they're on the right track and they're going to do things right, whether we watch or buy or don't. But you're just literally wasting your life. If you watch this team every night, we're not talking about football where it's an easy peasy show up on Sunday, eat some wings, set your fantasy roster, watch a game, and get drunk. That's nothing. We're not talking about basketball where like the middle months people just take off and don't care and nobody talks about it. Baseball fans for some reason think they have to watch every game for an entire summer. You say no to events. You don't go out because of games. You prioritize this team that is just not gonna reciprocate. And that's I'm not like knocking. I'm not saying that's it's not a fair weather fan thing to be like, I'm not going to turn my entire life over to you this season. Now, yes, if you completely bail and you don't know anything, yes, there's still, of course, going to be like rules to fandom, and you can't be there in the end when we win. if you weren't there during the lean years. But to if you treat this season like you did 2022, it's crazy. It's like it's like your TV season. Sometimes it's appointment TV. Season 4 of Lost was amazing, and season 5 fucking sucked. And that's where we're at right now. So don't let this team. Don't be a slave to this team. You don't have to do it. It's coming from a guy who did it for 20 years, and I regret it.
There are teams in life, like you said, that are worth canceling plans for appointment television. Like 2022, that was it.
That's it.
This is find things to do to avoid watching them.
Right. 2022, if you told me I canceled that date with that pretty girl, or I said no to a night out with the fellas, or I didn't go away for a weekend because they didn't have I wasn't getting a reception, couldn't watch the Mets. I understand. Doing that shit this year? No. It's like the Rocket when the Rocket would be at a wedding with his phone in his pocket to watch a last place Red Sox team. It was one of the most despicable white trash things I've ever seen in my life. Don't be that guy. Just live a normal life and say, my baseball team fucking sucks this year.
Like you said, almost going out of your and shout out to Jordan Simpson, but making songs about this team, it's like Anthony Kiedis writing about his heroin addiction and Under the Bridge. Yeah. This is the thing that's killing you, bro. You can't be doing that. But
you know what I've learned? In a weird way, I think the only reason I'm alive to this day is that I got a job at Barstool. And even when the team lost, that meant more material to blog, more material to rant about, sell a Kunzel shirt or whatever. I could take a negative and turn it into a positive. Jordan Simpson right now, he can make a song about holy shit, this team sucks so bad. When you can channel it into something, it's a lot easier to digest. It's a lot worse for the regular guy out there who's just I thought we were going to be a playoff team, and I was going to come home from work every night and crack open a Coors Light and watch this team and enjoy it. And now that's fucking gone, and I don't know what to do. That's where it sucks. And you might wear that like a badge of honor and be I watched every game of 2024. I just think that's a glorious waste of your life. Go do something else. Pick up a hobby, watch another TV show, pick up another team. Go watch a fun team and pick an AL team and watch them. Do whatever, but don't wait.
WNBA is getting hot. Go see a Liberty game.
Caitlin Clark.
Go watch Caitlin Clark.
Dude, that what's so funny is watching The View chime in on WNBA, and now we're talking about what the View's opinions are on sports. No. This is the bad side of Caitlin Clark becoming a phenomenon. Is Joy Behar talking about basketball now. No, we're not going to listen to those people. We don't give a fuck about their takes.
One thing I'm personally doing, I'm throwing a few dollars on baseball teams that don't absolutely suck. I go on the DraftKings Sportsbook, and I saw Clem bet the Dodgers the other day, and feels like I'm riding with the Diamondbacks. We were playing the Dodgers. That was absolutely tremendous. It finally feels like baseball season, and it's a little early to start looking at the standings and scoreboard watching. I'm talking to you, Mets fans, looking at the wild card standings right now, you sick bastards. But it's never too early to get in all of today's action at DraftKings Sportsbook. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your squad, and place your first bet. It's that simple from the first pitch to the final out. DraftKings has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odd boosts, and so much more. We had the old BEC back in the day, no runs first inning. Maybe, dabble in that. You can kind of go in and out quickly. So new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500. Just deposit at least $5, and you'll get a bonus bet back equal to your first bet if it doesn't hit. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BELIEVE. That's code BELIEVE for new customers to get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500 if your first bet doesn't hit. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
You know what sucks? The Phillies being this good. God damn it. Playing 700 ball.
They're on track to be the 0-1 Mariners or whatever it is. It's crazy.
That shit usually evens out a little bit, but it's always the Phillies give me hope, but also make me sad in a way where it's they got Bryce Harper a long time ago, and they've kind of had the same core for a while. And I mean, they've been knocking on the door, so I'm not saying like it didn't work, but like, I don't know. It just feels to me like, they stuck with a core that has not gotten it done. And like, maybe this is the year where they finally do get over the hump. And whereas with us, it's like, blow this shit up. And I know the Phillies did have more success than us. So obviously it's not like they were ever in blow it up territory, but it feels more like more often than not, if you put a core together and you get, a few years where you're in it, but don't get over, you got to do something different. And the Phillies, other than tweaking here and there, just rode with their guys and they're getting like rewarded for it. And we are not on the other side of things. And it always makes it tough and it's always going to be this way because probably for the rest of our lives, someone out of the Yankees, Braves, and Phillies will be good and be a World Series contender. At any given moment, 1 out of 3 or 3 out of 3 will be like a contender, and it's always just going to be like salt on the wounds for us. It's every year I have the same exchange. When the Mets play the Phillies, when the Mets win, I don't say anything. When the Phillies win, I get 3 texts from Shane Gillis. I get, Phils are good, Mets are bad, you are gay. And I'm like, this concludes the Mets Phillies shit talk portion of our year. There's nothing you can say anymore. Like the Phillies are just doing it better and way better than anybody right now. It's not fun to watch that happen.
I knew the Phillies, like, because I hadn't been monitoring the standings, but I knew the Phillies were like putting in a special season when Smitty started chirping about our 2022 taunting. I'm like, dude, we were no-hitting you. We were coming back in the 9th inning. It was the most incredible beatdown of a team that I've ever seen the Mets do to somebody. And I stand by every word I said. If I can't do that, there's literally no point to watch any sports, let alone the Mets, who basically suck the other 99% of my life. So I don't understand what you're trying to say here. So shout out to the Phillies. I saw Alec Boehm leads the league in doubles, and I'm like, we need our Alec Boehm, which I guess is like to lead the league in doubles in like 3 years. That's
when like that's always been. I kind of said that about our call ups. Like, where is our explosive rookie? Where is our came out of nowhere guy? Where is our pleasantly surprised? And I guess we had, a few of them in 2022, but it's like, do we only get those like once a decade? How is that not something that happens more often for us? I really actually think with David Stearns, it's going to start happening. You got to give it time. I do think this guy has an eye for, some of those like steals, but it's like Alec Boehm is leading the league in doubles. Like, how the fuck? God damn. Who's the Phillies GM?
Dave Dombrowski.
Dombrowski deserves a lot more respect because like that, I mean, they've been good for a while. And I mean, I have not been watching them really or most of the league, but it just feels to me like it's a year where they like finally, they've been knocking on the door. And I think they were either going to like fall apart and it's like they missed their chance or they're going to get over the hump. And obviously right now it looks like they're fucking cruising.
The thing about baseball is you can win 100 and something games in the regular season, and it could always mean nothing in October.
I mean,
like 3 games.
The Phillies have been knocking on the door when they were the scrappy team. Now let's see what they do when they're the
hunted,
with the week off because of the bye and all that shit that people say plays a factor. So, but I don't know. It feels like those things only harm us, and they're always good for the opposition.
Yeah.
I will say this. Wait, one more thing before I let you go. Sorry. I will say, the Phillies, if they don't get over the hump and win the World Series, last year losing to the Diamondbacks will haunt them for the rest of their fucking lives. If they win, it erases it. And you could say like, oh man, we could have had back-to-back. Sure, fine, whatever. But losing to the Diamondbacks, they absolutely would have won the World Series that year. That was their chance. They let Arizona somehow beat them. That will haunt them forever. And it feels like they are, on a mission to erase that. And if they do, good for them. If they don't, that's every year they don't win. That's just gonna hurt more and more and more.
Yeah, because they'll go through and they'll be like the Astros World Series, and like the Barstool World, it's like the Tico Texas World Series. Which, like, looking back, feels like a fever dream that actually happened in real life.
Bro, when she celebrated the Astros and then the Rangers is just so fucking funny. So good.
Oh man! And then I mean, like I said, snakes alive. You're gonna be like, the Diamondbacks year, and then if like whatever happens this year, I mean, Phil said it, the city of Runnerly up is what it'll be known. And So it's like, and that might, well, be interesting to see if it weighs on him, because like what the Eagles do should not rely, like hang on the Phillies. But at some point when your city just keeps going to the playoffs and keeps losing in heartbreaking ways, you have to feel it. And listen, man, like the Deshaun Jackson punt, that like was at the core of like my body. It just killed me. And the Giants won the Super Bowl the next year. And it was like, and to this day, people hit me up with that. I'm like, listen, guys, like honestly, but if you had gotten me that year before they won the Super Bowl, that burned me to my core. But now it's like, whatever, we won the Super Bowl literally next year. And probably like it helped get the Giants to be like, Matt Dodge, get the fuck out of town. We have to go all in on a Super Bowl team. We have like one more year with this window. And they won the fucking Super Bowl. So the Phillies, it's a lot hanging on them. Maybe the most pressure in the league that some people are saying right now. For that one, Smitty. And Smitty, this is the thing about Smitty though, like, or the Phillies. If the Phillies are good, sooner or later they're going to get on Dave's radar, and then he's going to be betting on them.
Yeah.
Worst thing that could happen to the poor guy. He's in California right now, fucking for a work trip. He's gonna, and I said like, he's gonna. Smitty's probably too smart for this, but if he posted a video of him at the beach in Cali, Dave from the beach in Nantucket would be like, "Why are you at the beach right now?" For work.
The last thing you want, your team gets so good that your boss is now aware of your work habits. Oh, there's the guy. I was the dentist.
Things I'd rather be doing: getting stuck in a torrential downpour and going to the dentist instead of watching the New York Mets.
Yep. Pretty much anything. Pretty much fucking anything at this point. Would you rather watch, Clem, Game 7 of the Knicks on repeat or tonight's Mets game?
Oh, Game 7. At some point, I'd have to like, and just like I'd wear the Reggie Miller choking shirt that Halliburton wore. Which, by the way, like you can wear that shirt. You know, you want it. You can't then gag away Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals with some of the worst turnovers I've seen in my entire life. Yikes.
Right.
Yikes.
Dude, to put that bullseye on your back like that is just crazy. Like people do that a lot with New York teams. They do it with the Mets. Like they teams celebrate beating the Mets or the Mets losing in weird ways. I know it's New York and people love to pile on, but it's like there was no reason to do that. And now you're gonna get your dick stomped in, and then what? You just look like a fucking asshole.
Just look like a fucking asshole. So Kyle, how are we doing right now? Any trees down on the road? Are you on your way to the dentist?
No, I just got out of the chair.
The chair.
It just started. So like they just finished and I looked outside and it was just torrential downpour and I'm like, that about checks out for how my life's been going with it.
They said Mets want to put you in a different chair.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, I'm sure you guys have already said it, but like they've lost 20 of their last 29. There's at least 3 or 4 of those that we also should have lost. That like Brandon Nimmo came off the bench with a walk-off. Like
At what point do we really start entering worst team in the league territory?
We just got beat by the worst team in the league.
The Rockies are really bad, right? The Rockies are terrible. The Marlins are still worse than us. The White Sox are really fucking bad. It might be hard to be worse than the White Sox, but like
10-game homestand versus the Giants, Dodgers, and D-backs. If that's a 3-7 or 2-8, you're probably like saying 14th in the National League.
Yeah, like if things get ugly, it's you're gonna be neck and neck with teams like the White Sox and Rockies real fast. And if there are people out there who are still like, we got a chance.
I'm happy to say that, Kev, about those people. This started with you, but it extends to them and everyone else out there. If you want to like blindly support the team, be like this, this team's gonna go to the playoffs. And listen, it still crazy shit could happen where like they sing into a wild card, whatever. But just respect the choices of the people that want to console. And I'm gonna be very careful with my words here. It's like they're going into the closet. They're not coming out of the closet. They're going into the closet and choosing not to watch the Mets right now. That's their decision. That's what they've chosen. Like, let's let them do it. Let them go in the closet very happily and not have to have this team.
Actually, now that you bring that up, have the 3 of you not consoled?
I don't console. I'm not consoling. Until 86 wins is that mathematically impossible. I have to live with 80. I'm the 86ers guy.
All right. You're an idiot. Me?
Go with the same path as last year. Let the team console for me at the trade deadline.
You guys, you have no balls. Kyle? Kyle was talking about this in the group chat. I know in his heart he's gone to Consolina. He just doesn't want to say it. And that's why I say the console game is a precarious one, and you got to kind of have a set of balls, because what we do is the podcast and we talk about the games. And when you console, you do get a shit ton of people saying you're not a real fan. You shouldn't get to watch all this shit. That's why it's a game where, it's a dicey game to play, but it's just being honest with yourself. If you actually, I know, Clem, you've consoled.
I have not.
You're a smart guy. You are a smart guy, and you've seen this movie too many times. You're a smart guy. You've consoled.
There's a difference between consoling and like your soul leaving your body. My soul has left my body, but I'm like still the body.
You just won't say it. You just won't say it.
The Mets are beating my lifeless corpse, but I'm not crawling away. I'm just taking I'm like, keep going, guys. Like at this point, you can't hurt me anymore. So it's like I'm just living with it. I have to also I have to be the brave face. I have to go to like a half dozen Barstool, the ballparks. Like I have to keep wearing it. So it's like they're just gonna keep motherfucking me. And
well, you know what? You're a liar. I'm gonna sit down with Sienna and AJ and talk about how their dad is just a big fat liar and he won't tell the truth on air.
That's fair.
But Barstool, the ballpark will be the only time you can enjoy the Mets live this year. So get your tickets, because other games are not gonna be worth it. The worst part of all is that for at least a couple weeks, I wasn't even thinking about the Mets because I was watching the Knicks. And now there's nothing. Now there's nothing to even distract.
Yeah, that's the worst part about this. And I said it to Phil during our live stream. As soon as the game went final, I go, now it's baseball season. Fuck
yeah.
That's by far the worst part of it. I think Kyle got anesthesia at his dentist, and he's like, I'm just going to drive home, guys. Don't worry about it. Or take me where he may right now. I'm a Mets fan.
They have until Memorial Day to win me back over and draw me back in. But if they got
Memorial Day, 2 days away.
Oh, I know.
What? And they win 2 or 3 games? That's going to change your mind?
Yeah, because I have so much hate in my heart right now that it's like I already had it. I had it typed out. I already told you guys, and then they miraculously decided to beat the Marlins. I just don't want. I want to have something to do this summer. You know how miserable it is when it's just like, well, now what do I do? Just sit around, twiddle my thumbs, and then talk about the team?
You're already there. You're just not saying it out loud.
Fully.
Yeah.
I just haven't said it.
It will set you free, Kyle. You talk about not having something to do. You will have something to do. You can go live your life. You can learn a hobby. You can go fishing. You can go jet skiing. You can go skydiving. You can read a book. You can watch movies. Swim. Do whatever you want.
You know what? Like with Kyle in the scenario, it's like not Kyle, but a woman. She's like, well, I haven't had my period in a couple months. I'm gaining some weight. I'm feeling some murmurs, but she hasn't peed on the stick yet. It's like, you're fucking pregnant. You just haven't gotten
you guys all cut out when Kevin asked. You guys have all consoled?
No, none of them have. They're liars. They're fucking liars
shit for no reason.
Yeah, no, they're all fucking liars. They won't listen. They won't say it out loud.
I gotta go talk to Smitty in California, so
there you
gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
The fact that we're not even at game 50 yet, though, is that's the most brutal part. Because these fucking assholes that made the third wild card, nobody is looking at that team and going, they have a shot to make a run in the play. I was the fact that you could be 500 and make the playoffs in baseball now, they've watered it down completely.
They're playing 4:30 baseball. And people think they have a shot, and they don't realize when you play 100 more games at 4:30, you win 50, 60 games that year. It's crazy.
What's the line from Game of Thrones? That which is dead cannot be killed, or
yeah.
That. That's kind of we all went into the season being I just don't have that passion in me, that fire. And it's if I had that, and then the last month happened, I'd be beside myself. I would have consoled, and I'd be living in Carolina. But I was you can't. I was already dead inside, so it's I'm more dead inside.
I almost want to find. Do you think do we know anybody that was we all felt the same way, and you can play the tapes of some of us being optimistic, predicting 80 wins. Everybody knew this team was gonna be bad. But I'm
optimistic, predicting 80 wins.
Well, I say that because I think that's what I did. I think I said that we were going to win 70-something games, and then for the official prediction, I was because we do a podcast for the Mets, and I gotta try to do something here. I think I said 80 wins. That was my upside. I think I would love though I want to find someone who who knows baseball and they weren't just like blindly being stupid, knows baseball and like for some reason thought this was going to be a good year and is just devastated right now. I'm sure there's somebody out there, right? Like that's got to be. Oh, I mean,
those are two opposite things. You can't know baseball and then also think the Mets were going to be in it because, like,
there's a lot of people who are telling me, like, when I consult, like, you don't know ball, and it's like, I don't think you know ball.
Well, like, saying it's because they're holding on to hope of like Lindor's hitting under. He went 2 for 4 yesterday. He's still under 200. Like, crazy. Pete is hitting 230. The best player on our team, average wise and like production wise, is JD Martinez, who's a part-time player.
Yeah.
Who's, by the way, is probably like, I need to make sure I stay healthy so they can get me the hell out of here.
Yes, for sure. He's got to go, right?
Bader, Tyrone Taylor, like these are guys where it's like, I want to see them go succeed. Like, I hope you guys get moved, and it's nothing against you because I enjoy watching you play, but like, go get your skills used somewhere else.
This is like, breaking up with someone for their sake. It's like, I'm never going to marry you. So I'm breaking up with you. Go live, go love. And then, bro, you want to talk about a bad team? This team post trade deadline. If you watch every night after the trade deadline of this year, Steve Cohen should send you like $500 or something like that. That's crazy. Tickets should legitimately be free after the All-Star break.
Yeah, our ticket rep is probably like, man, I should have sold them more of those group outings they wanted to go to this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make a confession. I thought this actually yesterday morning in the store. I was like, I canceled YouTube TV for DirecTV stream so I could watch the Mets and the Knicks because the YouTube doesn't have MSG or SNY. Now that the Knicks season is on, I'm like, I'm not in a contract. Why don't I just go back to YouTube until the Knicks season begins? And I'm like, I have a fucking Mets podcast. I can't just like, but at some point,
don't. Now you're wasting money on this team, Clem. Set yourself free financially, emotionally, mentally. Say it. Say the word, Clem.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to say it. Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.